And hello, good morning, and welcome back to Corsace Closed 2022. We are returning for day number 2 of the round of 16 winners bracket weekend, the first weekend of bracket stage matches for this tournament. And we are opening up the day with a banger of a match between badeu and MREC, aka sakamata1. I'm this one guy. Joining me today is going to be none other than Chillier Pair. Welcome to the booth, Chillier. How is it going, my dude?
Hello! I am awake, ready to go. Exciting matches today. We had a couple yesterday that ended in relatively one-sided finishes. So I am looking forward to maybe seeing a couple more close matches today, and potential for a tiebreaker on some of these. Of course, this not being the only match today, the one we're starting off with, however, and it will be interesting to see how two players who probably have the highest skill caps of anyone in this tournament overall will face off against each other. I think people kind of know badeu as simply just having the best aim ever of all time ever, and MREC being the number one player of the last long time and still maintaining that spot, setting, I believe, 40 plus 1,000 performance point plays. He continues to set very impressive speed and aim scores. So both of these players are exceptional at the game.
Yeah, and I think what makes this matchup really interesting is that, if you kind of look at their trends, these two have really opposing skill sets. MREC has kind of established himself as this incredible speed player lately. I mean, I know he has great aim and such, but his big skill set that he's been setting a lot of these scores on has been, speed and tapping mechanic stuff. Whereas, badeu historically known for his really good aim, really good reading, really good, kind of gimmick map skills. And already quickly getting into the bans, you can kind of see that being shown instantly where badeu first bans Nomad 2 because he would probably get about 100k on it on a good day. And MREC banning out the hidden 2. Like, you can kind of see them already just reaching into that, like, opposing skill set just to ban out their opponents as best they can.
Yeah, very much so. badeu, very smart bans there. If you, I mean, we can kind of start to use maybe the statistics a little bit more now, but you can kind of see on the side of MREC, the speed and stamina, really, really the top two things you're looking out for on that side. badeu, kind of basically what we were mentioning before. He is a strong aim player, but that tech, that precision, the reading, they are exactly where badeu shines in every tournament you've seen him play. That is exactly what he is so good at. And MREC's bans reflect that accordingly as well. You've got Hard Rock 3, the YFBMP map is now gone, and Nanatsu Kyoto, the Hidden 2, also being banned out. MREC, not to say he is not strong at the skill sets that are not, kind of those top 2 or 3 places. I think a lot of these are underrated, similar to a lot of other players, but most certainly, at least against badeu, will have a very, very difficult time to go through that. badeu's speed statistic is something to be kind of watching out for as well. We always talk about badeu not necessarily having the highest stamina of any player at his rank range in the game. His speed's not half bad. Unironically, you get the alt DT maps, you get the tech DT maps, even some of the aim stuff, and he is fairly proficient at those skill sets. So, the speed notwithstanding the left hand stuff, but
Yeah, like he can play high BPM aim. He can play relatively high BPM tech and stuff. It's just where the more left hand oriented comes into play. Like, I mean, we've seen him do some ridiculous high BPM aim plays. So I think that's where that speed stat comes in. But this is, I think, going to go in a pretty linear fashion in this match where MREC gets him Nomad 2, Nomad 5 banned against him, and he's just going to go right into DT2, and then he'll probably pick DT3 as his second pick because that's like the more tapping focus types of picks in this pool. And then badeu, for his part, he'll probably go, I don't know, Nomad 4, maybe Nomad 3, because he is a ridiculous alt player, things like that. So I think you're going to see both these guys dipping into very specific wells. And then it's if this match goes long enough to where those wells run dry that we'll start to see some more interesting picks that aren't just, kind of directly in one of the other players' wheelhouses. DT2 Blue Clapper, first pick for Emrek. This is, I am expecting it to be pretty one-sided because Emrek can tap and badeu kind of can't. And what is that white screen?
This is OWC 2019. We're just giving a little bit of homage to
God.
a little bit of homage to the
We're playing Modern Warfare 2 actually on Favela in the campaign where you just get a billion flashbangs thrown at you.
Yeah, this is actually Counter-Strike source, everyone. Sorry.
Yeah, hopefully this can get fixed here relatively quickly. I'm gonna.
You can see based on the scores that badeu just missed, and Emrek is still FCing. Actually, the score gap has started to widen. You can start to get a sense of how this map is slowly going. Maintaining a fairly close gap at the beginning, but as we start to get through the song, there's a lot of triples in this map repeated just over and over again, and it's very easy to lose stamina on this if you're not super comfortable with how it goes. So I am expecting, again, like you mentioned before, this to most likely go to the ways of Emrek purely because of how comfortable he is on maps of this sort. Score gap, as you can see, continuing to increase, 250,000 on Emrek now.
I just opened up my tourney client, and Emrek is currently full comboing with about an 800 combo, 98 AC. badeu has 84,000 points and 76% AC. So, that's basically what you'd expect out of this map. badeu just doesn't have the ability to tap maps like this, and Emrek obviously does. And Emrek is, in fact, still holding onto a combo about halfway through. He is just shy of 1,000 combo on this map, and still holding up pretty solid accuracy. It's long since a foregone conclusion. badeu's actually not even playing at this point, so this is going to be a quick 1-0 to Emrek as the stream is finally going to be alive, so we will have the ability to show you guys what's really happening, and you're not going to be missing much because badeu's not even playing.
Yeah, he's struggling on some of these again. It's just the repeated bursts, the long, the triples over and over again with the patterns. This map has quite literally what I would consider negligible amounts of aim. Everything in this map, if you miss on aim on this map, you have failed yourself and your family. This is pure left hand or right hand, I guess, if you tap with your right hand. But you can see exactly what's happening right now. There's a reason that this is an opening pick for Emrek. He knows he's strong at this. He knows he has an advantage against probably most players in this tournament on a map of this style. His accuracy is not the most stellar we've seen on this map thus far, but regardless, an FC is an FC. He's going to be putting up a very impressive score into the ending here. I think badeu is probably just saving his fingers for whatever his next pick is going to be, which is probably the smarter thing. If you're if you have no chance of winning the first map of this, you might as well just wait and then, sit yourself in for whatever your next pick is going to be. Well done to Emrek, first FC of the match on his opening pick. We're going to go over to badeu next. He is going to have his opener. I imagine we're going to be trading at least the first 2 or 3 picks back and forth on these two players here. I really think that there are at least a few maps in this pool where I think you can kind of one-side it a little bit just because of how confident you are on those opening picks here. Regardless of how good both of these players are, there's always something that they're a little weaker at than the other.
Yeah, I think something like probably a Nomad 3 or a Nomad 4 is what I would most likely expect from badeu here. But he also does have the option to go into like Hard Rock pool if we haven't seen much Hard Rock. I think we've seen a grand total of 1 Hard Rock pick this entire tournament in the first 3 matches. And it's going to be Hard Rock 2, which I saw badeu talking about not having a great time on in the channel in the Discord, so I'm not really sure what's up with that. He was obviously must have been trolling, because we're gonna go precision aim. We're gonna go 6.5, which is something that badeu is pretty good at. You see his precision stat is way up there, and Emrek a little less known, I think, for precision compared to his other skill sets. So badeu gonna try to take advantage of that with his first selection here.
Very much so. I think badeu actually has one of the highest, if not the highest, precision stat of any player that came out of qualifiers. I think that was probably his strongest area here. And then, this consumer of lean map, not consumer of bean anymore. We have it is definitely... no, brain's blanking right now. Okay. I don't know. It's aim precision. I was going to say it's aim fairly precision. Standard. It's fairly standard in terms of that. Not too much finger control. The rhythms are fairly comfortable. And I think that badeu is going to have a great time on this map, and we're seeing a couple of... Oh, I thought that was a banjo miss for a second, but...
Yeah, Emmerich had a nice little banjo miss in the very start there. He is still full comboing, but a little bit behind on the accuracy. Badeu up a slight amount early on. This one might just come down to, like, somebody breaking somewhere and the other player FCing, and it's gonna be badeu with that first break. A little, like, he like, aimed past that circle in the bottom right. That was kind of unfortunate for him, and that's Emmerich now just gonna try to run out to a lead, because we're already a third of the way through. Not a long map.
Very unfortunate for badeu on the short pick to find a miss kind of right before the halfway point. He won't be capped at that hard, 650-ish K that you normally are, but he will have a very, very rough time coming back from this if Emmerich doesn't miss within maybe the next 10 seconds of the map here. Obviously, Emmerich is a consistent player, and yeah, there we go. That miss is not going to do too much to help him out. Emmerich does finally find a miss on that little burnt rice type pattern there, kind of a mini one, and it is going to go to his point, unless he just melts down at the ending of this. Combo far too gone. They have the exact same combo right now. Accuracy on badeu is actually lower following the misses.
Yeah, this is kind of an unfortunate sort of look. I don't know. I mean, like, this is such low BPM that you wouldn't really expect it to be something that badeu would have trouble with the tapping on. I think it does have a few 1/6 patterns, but for the most part, it's a lot of 1/4 at 50-ish BPM. So I don't know. It's like slight misaim and just having trouble with finger control or something. And Emmerich, just taking care of business. Only the one miss, but it was at a point where he could afford it. And that's a quick break point on badeu's first selection for Emmerich to take a 2-0 lead, and now he can just sort of roll with the picks that are super favored toward him, because he's got at least 2, if not 3 more, and that'll take him to 4 or 5 points in the match just by default.
Extremely rough start for badeu here. Yeah, even in a best of 11, you don't have that much wiggle room in terms of these opening picks here, and having that 2-0 start, which, again, like you just mentioned, can increase to a potential 3-0 start, given that, you've got the opportunity to consolidate that break point after the beginning here. And based on how Emmerich's been playing today, that is possible. He's looking a little bit more consistent today. The aim right on where it needs to be. Obviously, based on that DT2, his finger control and tapping is perfectly fine, which I think everyone kind of expects it to be. I think that's, there's certain players where you go into a match and you're like, all right, they're going to do well on X skill set every single time. And for Emmerich, it's anything tapping oriented. If he comes into the match and he's not having a good tapping day, he's just not going to have a good day overall. So I think that's something that he's going to use to his advantage today. badeu, rough start on that first one, though. I imagine he'll be looking towards something like No Mod 3 after this, maybe something alt-oriented. That's definitely a skill set where I think he has an advantage over a lot of other players there. Emmerich's going to be going for the double time 3, the L cheer map, the speedy DT.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, Emmerich with DT2 and 3 available, first picks DT2 and then DT3. This was a pretty foregone conclusion type of selection, I think. It's 273 BPM. It's very tapping heavy. It's the highest star rating map in the pool that isn't the tiebreaker, so it must be speedy, because that's how the star rating system works now. Placing bets, I'm going to set the over-under for badeu's score at 100K, and I think that might be a bit generous.
Well, I'm gonna give him. Actually, this map is a little bit more tapping oriented than most other speed maps.
It's bursts and triples, and badeu is using the method.
What did he get on DT2? I would give him like
101K.
All right, I'll give him plus 10K on that.
Dude, he's actually like comboing because of the method.
Honestly, the streams are pretty dense, so as long as he can maintain his finger control between the doubles and the triples, he's got some combo here. And if he pulls up enough combo, there goes a triple. Yeah, the finger controls.
He just missed on the same note.
Oh, goodness. Well, okay. badeu has a combo advantage. Unfortunately, the accuracy is going to make 100% of the difference in this map right now because of the 14% act deficit that badeu has.
I guess the over's gonna hit here, man. I forgot that this is linear enough and stacked enough that you can just D-tap it. I forgot about that when I was making that prediction. No.
Oh,
it requires resorting to some devilish technology, but it's
passed
actually
down by generations of non.
He's comboing, dude. He's comboing with 83 accuracy, and he has 400 combos and missed. There's no way. Like, the AC is too low for badeu to win this, right? Like, even if he FCs the rest, surely.
If Emrek misses again, he can win this.
If badeu wins DT3 through dark tapping against Emrek, okay, he missed, and now he's done.
No,
okay, is he gonna lose enough score? I was going quite well for somebody who is at 79 AC.
If he didn't stop playing, maybe he was giving his fingers a break. Maybe they were actually starting to hurt a little bit after that section. That was pretty long with no break. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. badeu utilizing the technique passed down by generations of AIM players on double time 3.
The society if you couldn't tap twice at the same time.
Yeah, seriously. Dude. So many players would have such a bad day.
Emrek, this might be one of the biggest accuracy differences I've ever seen in a map. 17% AC gap.
We should note this might be the biggest accuracy difference between any two players on any given map after both players legitimately played the pick.
Right. Like, I mean, badeu stopped playing for like 2 seconds, but other than that, he actually played the entire map. All right. Well.
All right.
You know, shout outs to somebody in chat. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just unfortunate. badeu not quite comfortable on these picks here. Emrek's score, unironically, was not actually that impressive in terms of players in this tournament either.
Yeah, 590k is really underwhelming on that type of map from somebody who's as good at speed as he is. But he got the dub, and that's what matters, and that consolidates the break point as well for the 3-0.
Exactly. All right, well, 3-0 start here. badeu has the opportunity to make this a 3-1. I would hope he goes for something like No Mod 3. I think alt picks are something that he is very good, very consistent at. The last time I saw badeu miss on an alt map was like never. Hopefully today is not the first day that he does, but I think that's something that he would be very good at. Obviously, he's lost Hidden 2, so there's nothing you can do about that. I don't imagine he's going to be picking Hard Rock 1 into Emrek. There's plenty of stronger picks. He will go for the tech map, which is perfectly fine as well. No Mod 4, No Mod 3, both good for him.
Yeah, relatively short, super slider aim heavy No Mod 4. I like this pick for badeu, especially because I don't know that Emrek played or practiced this map, and like, yeah, it's just one of those like slider aim No Mod 4s, but you still typically want to play them ahead of time. I think this is a good spot for badeu to be in. Again, you look at the tech score for him is way up there. You look at the tech score for Emrek, and it is not way up there. I like this pick a lot. I think this is one that he can get on the board with for sure.
Well, let's hope he can. I think that with the way that Emrek has been aiming on some of these more control-intensive parts of the maps here, badeu might have an advantage. He's going to drop a very early 100 here, but that really isn't going to make that much of a difference. So we'll see how this map goes. We've seen a lot of very good No Mod 4 players find a lot of difficulty on this map here. I think the most recent match we saw this on was the Mappy Bartek match, where Bartek had a lot of trouble with the cuts at the beginning, and it really started to be a little bit more comfortable towards the ending. We'll see if that happens to either of these players, both looking slightly more comfortable than what we've seen across multiple players thus far in a couple of the matches. Just both very high-skill players. badeu, obviously, this is one of his stronger skill sets. Emrek is just a confident aim player, so these sliders and high-velocity looping patterns are not really anything to him.
It's interesting, too, because this is a little bit less of a binary skill set in the way of a DT2 or a DT3, where, like, you can either tap it or you can't, But with a slider-heavy map like this, I mean, you can see both players still holding the full combo through 2/3 of the map, because it's something that, if you have decent aim, you can probably get by on this, even if you're not like a tech specialist, just because that's kind of the nature of these sliders. And both guys still holding. We've got a quarter of the map left, and they are both looking pretty solid. AC lead is ever so slightly in the favor of badeu, but it is going to come down to the last moments here.
There's a couple of cut patterns at the ending that may provide some trouble for either of these players. Obviously, there's still the chance of slider breaking looming over both of their heads. Badeu has taken an ACK lead at the ending on some of these wiggle streams here. Does drop hundreds at the ending and almost gives it. He gives it up on the spinner. He gave it up on the spinner. He didn't spin at all. Oh my god, he spun like 40. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, well, it's all right.
Okay, average spin speed for badeu was 282 RPM.
Wasn't even close. Yeah.
Average spin speed for Emrek was 361 with a max of 445.
Emrek didn't even spin fast.
Like, Emrek didn't even spin that well, but badeu just didn't spin at all.
It was the amount of score that badeu lost getting 4 100s on those like that last stream.
Oh,
I mean, it was, I don't know. It was like quite literally almost a quarter of his hundreds on that last pattern. Oh god.
That's so sad to see, man. Like, just those hundreds dropped and then not, and it brought it back to where Emrek could win via outspin on a double FC. Like, it's exciting and thrilling, but you kind of hate to see it at the same time because it's just it's a really awful feeling to lose a map like that.
You hate to see it, but you know, you don't know. That doesn't happen very often. That was like 200 something points.
I think there's one tieable map in this pool, and it's Nomad 2. But other than that, I think that's the closest you're gonna see any map go is to a spin to win.
Yeah.
Even more so than the ACK battles we saw a couple of in I think it was Akoro versus Ristel. But I'm not gonna go Nomad 6 now. This is our first Nomad 6 sighting, the Niwashi Flask Nomad 6. Another short one, just 1:53. And it's on a down map set, so, you know, what more do you need to be told?
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually know who this pick is favored to. I mean, just purely based on how Emrek has been playing today, the balls are in his court right now. I mean, this is a match right now that is basically just on badeu finding an unfortunate miss somewhere thus far. You know, as we start to have less tapping-oriented maps, we will start to see these become, you know, infinitely closer in terms of score at the ending, because both of them are very consistent when it comes to, you know, contested skill sets. I think you've got the consistency on Emrek's side, but you've also got just the sheer raw skill of badeu, and I think that makes for a lot of the closed picks in here. But as of right now, the consistency has reigned champion today, especially on these early rounds, you know, round of 16. These pools are still not super difficult, especially for players like this. So you're going to be seeing a lot of higher scores, despite what you've seen on a couple of these maps between both of these players. Some relatively unimpressive stuff, but then you've, you know, got stuff like Nomad 4 where it's really contested, double FC, or, you know, we're going to be seeing a lot of probably double 600 or 700k plus scores on these maps here.
Yeah, generally we've had a lot of very contested maps. It's often felt throughout the first couple days here that if you have to FC to win, because one of the other players FCing a lot of. Continuing again here as another map where the players are holding a double FC through 3/4, and it's barely even an ACK gap. I mean, it's literally just a matter of a couple hundreds once again. That is taking us to a near even score coming into the last quarter. This is just feeling like we're running back Nomad 4 again. This is going to be the same sort of last gasp effort from the players to try and hold their FC and hold their ACK, which Emrek seems to be very, very slightly doing.
Well,
buddy.
Okay.
It's ACK battle. It's ACK battle.
It's big ACK battle.
Both FCing.
badeu has it right now. Last pattern, and it goes to badeu by less than 1k. 900.
Wait, I don't think that's. Is that right? No, that's not right. Emrek
not right.
Yeah, that has a miss. That has a miss for Emrek, and I don't know why. I don't know where. He did miss. He did have a miss, but he won anyway because he has
better
6 fewer hundreds.
He missed right at the end.
Yeah, it was. Did he slider break on the off slider, and I literally didn't see it because I was bringing up the MP link, or did he miss right at the beginning? He must have missed right at the start.
Maybe
his miss must have been like in the first.
It had to be at the beginning.
His miss was in the first like 6 combo. So the score on the screen there is actually incorrect. It was 952K for MREC. Badeu's score was right, the 945K. That one's right. I'm not sure what happened with the client there, but that is.
Are we
MREC
ever
taking
sure
the
what
point.
happened with the client?
No, we're really not. So another incredibly closely fought map, but MREC, thanks to the slightly higher accuracy, able to overcome that early break, and now it is a 5-0 lead after a couple of just the most ridiculously close picks you're ever going to see.
That's just, I can't even believe it. There's like 2 picks in a row now, and there's like a less than 6,000 score difference between the 2 of them added together.
That's like what, 7,000, basically 7,000 even over the course of 2 maps.
Goodness. I can't. It doesn't, it doesn't exist.
Up.
It's not possible.
That doesn't happen very often.
Doesn't happen. It really doesn't. I mean, I don't know. You get maybe like old 2019 tournaments where the map pulls were still too easy and teams were like 4-way FCing stuff, or there was like you've got I don't even know, like Vaxay Bubble Man Game Osu or something, just double FCing stuff. Like I don't understand how people don't understand how infrequent this happens. Like
I mean, it is like an early round, so you can expect more FCs, but even then to have them be that close in score is pretty nuts. And badeu finally, as we kind of expected him to eventually do, at least, will go into Nomad 3. This is a little bit of a last gasp effort, I think, to find a skill set that he's stronger on, but it's asking a lot the way MREC is playing today to win anything against this guy.
I think that if there was one pick that badeu would win today, it's Nomad 3. I said it before he picked Nomad 4. The Nomad 6 was something that he potentially could have won if he was, if MREC found a miss maybe just slightly later into the map. And I think he's probably waited on Nomad 3 because he also knows that this is one of his stronger maps. So I think that, again, obviously if there was anything he was going to take, it's probably Nomad 3 that's left. I don't really see much else in the pool that I think he would be much stronger on than this map. Potentially Hidden 3, maybe, aside from that, but we're starting to like even then it's
you're splitting hairs at that point, and I think Hidden 3 is a little bit streamy for him to be. I mean, well, he did put up a good score in practice, I guess, but I think that's one that MREC would be a little more comfortable with. I feel like Hard Rock 1, unless it's got streams in it, does this Hard Rock 1 have streams in it? It must, right? Like, otherwise badeu would have picked that at some point, I feel.
Most likely.
But Nomad 3, alt map, great song.
Well, badeu putting the classic XD at the beginning. He did that on a few other picks. I don't know what it means.
I feel like this is off. It's off topic, like ever so slightly in terms of like not talking about the map that's actually happening. But badeu like needs a little more confidence in himself lately. I feel like over the years, he's taken so much like crap for not being good at streams and stuff that it's overshadowed all of the other things that he's really good at, and so his like self-opinion as a 1v1 player has gone like through the floor when he's still ridiculously good. I don't know. But be that as it may, we're going Nomad 3, and this is a map that, again, could be a double FC because these guys are both nuts at this sort of stuff, and it might just be an act battle again because that's apparently just how this match is going.
Well, I think it could change directions after this pick. I think if there was ever a time for badeu to make a comeback, it's now. He's gonna find the confidence. He's gonna roadhouse kick MREC back to the losers. I don't know what he's gonna do. He's gonna do something right now.
He's gonna roadhouse kick MREC all the way back to Australia. But wait, he's already in Australia. I don't know. Like, badeu is like just such an insane Nomad 3 player. I don't know. I mean, how many replays in tournaments he's not playing and have we seen him do for Nomad 3? Is like it's actually insane.
It's crazy. It's actually it's insane how often he's just at this slot ready to go. I feel like I said it before, but when's the last time you saw him like actually miss on a Nomad 3? We've seen slider breaks, but when's the last time you saw him miss?
Some late round Hippo Cup replay, probably when it was like a 7.8 star
Improvisation Coliseum or something. Like, yeah, one of the hardest alt maps in the game or something like that. I don't even know where else you would even see it. You've got it. You genuinely have to hit like 7.5 plus stars.
Well, we did it to him.
I don't like it. I don't like this game.
We did it to him. I'm sorry. My
His keyboard. He didn't miss. He didn't miss.
His keypad disconnected.
It was technical. Oh my god. See, now he's listen. He's doing it. It's happening right now. I don't know. It's over.
Oh, you hate to see it, dude. That sucks. Because this was literally dead even double FC. And then he gets a little technical difficulty, and that's just it, because Emrek is going to FC. And, like, badeu would have contested the ACK, I'm pretty sure, too, because the ACK was basically dead even. So it would have just come down to, like, where the hundreds were.
If Emrek misses the ending, I would be very sad.
Well, it would be in this Ki, because the ending itself is easy. Well, that's a nice score from Emrek. I mean, shoutouts to Emrek for pulling the FC. Like, he did what he had to do, and you can't fault that. But it's really unfortunate to see badeu go out that way with the disconnected keyboard. And it was past the point of no return where it was like, you know, 2/3 of the way into the match. You can't really, unfortunately, restart at that point. You know, that's way past.
I dislike that.
It's a 6-0 for Mr. Eck. Moving on, rolling onward, having the time of his life in the round of 16 against badeu, who played well. As we've seen in many of these matches, you get players performing well, but just being a little bit outmatched on, and, you know, ending up with a skill set that they can't play very well that gives their opponent a couple of easy points. But, you know, badeu drops down to loser's bracket, and he plays Sigi, which is, I think winnable for him. And Emrek, meanwhile, moves on to face Utami in the quarterfinals, because that's a matchup that should happen in the quarterfinals, apparently.
Yeah, obviously that's a matchup that needs to happen. I guess we'll maybe see if badeu can maybe get his new keyboard, obviously, from our sponsor, maybe Momokai. 10% off using our code Corsace. Fantastic place to work with. Thank you for the sponsor. We'll refer them to badeu later.
Yeah, I think badeu might be in need of a new keypad after that one, and that would be a perfect place to get one. That's going to do it for that match, at any rate. Emrek, with the quick 6-love, he is emulating Novak Djokovic, who won 6-love in the first set today in the finals in Rome.